Hey, it's me, Vicky Marie, and good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in this crazy world we're living in. So, in this video, we're going to look at the Jay Slater documentary, The Search for Jay Slater, or The Disappearance of Jay Slater, I think it was called on Channel 4. I don't know if you got a chance to see it last night. I watched it, I've recorded it, I'm going to try my best. In this video, we're going to comment on it. If you want to watch just the documentary, no commentary, I have got it ready to upload. I'll be uploading that tonight. But in this video, we are actually going to be talking about it. Some of you may have seen it. Others of you may not have got a chance to see it because of where you are in the world. You haven't got Channel 4. And we're going to comment. But keep your comments respectful, especially to the family, please. Don't attack each other. You're free to have your theories as long as they're not insulting to the family or to me, of course, or to any of the other chatters. If you don't agree with someone, just scroll through it. Please just be respectful in chat. That's all. You can have your opinions, but bear in mind as well, I might not actually agree with you. So don't expect me to agree with you, just as I don't expect you to agree with me. This is one of those cases that has divided people. I enjoyed the documentary. I thought it was very thought-provoking. I thought it was very honest and raw of the family. And in my personal opinion, anyone who thinks this family haven't really been through it, something wrong with you. Sorry. It's just, anyway, we're going to watch it and you'll tell me what you think. I can't make you think the same as me. I can only present it, give my views. That's what I do on my YouTube channel. What you'll get are honest views from me. Whether you agree with them or not is up to you. And if you don't like my views, you have to go and watch another YouTube channel. Okay, so we don't have to. You can carry on. I think sometimes people like watching YouTube channels. They don't agree with them, but they like watching them anyway for whatever reason. I don't know, but that's what we're going to talk about in this video. Now, first of all, I've just got to go and put the fans on because I've got to warn you, my little village where I live in Spain. For anyone who doesn't know me, my name's Vicky Marie. I'm British, but I was born in Manchester, not far from where Jay's from. I think that's why I feel for this family as well. To me, I've met a million families like that years ago. They're just an ordinary northern family. Their son went off on holiday and he never came home. And it just must be awful for them. And then they were subjected to all this online hate and conspiracy theories, etc. So maybe that's why I feel for them as well, because, that could be my family. So I'm in Spain. Now, it has cooled down a bit, but I've got all the doors and windows shut. Sorry, I'm just looking to see what the temperature is. It's 21 degrees, which is a nice temperature. But I've had to shut everything because we're in fiestas. It's the last day of the fiestas in my little village. And there could be some bangers. Wouldn't be unusual for there to be bangers. I'm just going to put the fans on. Won't be a sec. Let me put the picture of Jay back up. I'm back. And a little bit of waffle because, again, if you know me, you'll know that on the live streams, that's when I do my waffle. If you don't like waffle, that's fine. I understand that. But yesterday I was out walking my little dogs over at the campo in my village, and the bangers started going off, and there was a lady, a Spanish lady with her little dog. lovely little dog, like well, I don't know, it was a hairy dog, but it was sort of not tiny, tiny, but smaller than my dogs, which aren't that big. Anyway, they were right over the other side of the campo, where I walk my dogs. And when the bangers went off, this dog just legged it because it wasn't on a lead. So it just legged it from its owner. It was terrified. Because anyone who's watched my channels when the bangers are going off, it's like gunshots, it's like there's some sort of shooting going on. And luckily, ran straight to me. I think dogs just know, like, he's like, oh gosh, yeah, she likes dogs, let's go to her. And my dog were on leads, which they normally are, though Riley isn't. Riley is always on a lead because he won't come back. Sometimes I do let my little Rocky off a lead because he's good and he will come back when you call him. But I didn't while there's bangers going on and everything. I wouldn't, because I do get scared. So, and they were barking at this little dog as it was running towards us. They were barking at the dog. We just more or less finished our walk and we were near the car, just about to get in the car. And I think this dog just thought, sanctuary, sanctuary, these bangers going off. She'll help me, even though my dogs were barking at him. And I'm trying to think what his name was. I think it might be, was it Pepper? I can't remember what his name was. She was shouting his name, the lady. She was miles away, so she had quite a distance to get to us. And also it meant a lot of climbing up things that are difficult to climb up. But where it's like when you're in a panic, you sort of get this, because I was thinking, God, I don't think I could have climbed up there, but maybe I could if my dog's life depended on it. Because this dog, if it would have gone further than where I was, and it did once, it went off. There's the main road right there. And he could easily have got run over because he wasn't looking, luckily there was no cars where we were. Anyway, I called him back. And so he was totally ignoring his owner. And when I called him back, he came back. And I think, so I was just like stood there thinking, oh God, what am I going to do? I need to get my dogs in the car because I keep barking at him. I don't want him to run away again. And it was, anyway, it was all going on. It took about 5-10 minutes for this lady to sort of scramble up these hills and things to get to where we were. And she got him. And he went to her then and she put him on his lead. And I said to her, it's probably a good idea to keep him on his lead until the fiestas are over with, because these bangers are random. We've had a load this morning, a load of rockets going off. Later on today, there'll be fireworks that signal the end of the fiestas. Thank you, God. I mean, there's still another week, sort of. I think next weekend there might be something. But it's the end of sort of the really sort of main part of the fiestas, and they have a firework display and that bit tonight. So I won't be taking my dogs out at all today. But I felt, she said, she was so nice. The lady said, oh, thank you so much, because it's funny because I wasn't going to go there to walk the dogs. So sometimes, if you trust your angels will look. I feel like do you believe in earth angels? I'm totally someone put the waffle things on me, so I'm totally waffling now. But I thought, because I went to a different place first of all to walk the dogs, and then it felt all a bit it was dark and it felt a little bit solitary and whatever, and I thought, oh no, I'll go just a little bit further up where it's more public and it's more well lit. And luckily that I did, because I think if I wouldn't have been there, that dog would have shot off and it would have been on that main road, and God knows what would have happened to it. So, yeah, gosh, animals is always a drama, isn't there? Okay, in fact, I'm going to put the waffle thing on. So I'm sorry for waffling. Of course, I know some people like the waffles. I'm going to put my waffle on. Turn the sound down. on the other video. Okay, so yeah, a little bit of waffle. So let me know if you got a chance to watch the documentary, Jay Slater documentary. God, I didn't even put my banner up. I'm not very well organised, am I? Just for a change. So first of all, before we start looking at this documentary, thank you so much. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for caring about Jay, particularly in this video, or any of the victims that we talk about. Now, Jay, of course, wasn't a victim of a crime, or it feels, you know, I don't believe he was. I know some people do. But he was still a victim. He was a victim of being a young lad and doing daft things like they do. And, you know, we see it all the time. And I've seen it a million times in my family, one way or another. And luckily, most of the time, people sort of get away with it, don't they? I've done it when I was young. You do the craziest things, and you look back later on, and you think, oh my God, I am lucky to be alive. Unfortunately for Jay, he underestimated the terrain there. But yeah, thank you for watching. Thank you for caring about him. I want to say a very special thank you to my members. If you're not a member, why not consider becoming a member? We have an exclusive members live on a Thursday always. And, you know, if you can't actually make the live, at least you can watch it later. So there's a lot. Check out the members' videos. You know, there's a lot of videos there that you might be interested in watching. Very special thank you as well to anyone who's bought me a Ko-fi. Anyone who sent me a super sticker, PayPal'd me, sent me a nice email, left a nice message, contributed to my channel in any positive way. Thank you so much. Okay, so I'll take the banner off now. I want to say hello to my lovely lurkers. That's those of you who like to watch the lives, but you don't like to join in the chat. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you to my replay crew. Those of you who can't watch the live, because I tend to do lives in the daytime, don't I? I know a lot of you, maybe you're at work or doing other things, etc., and you catch up later. Thank you. And now I'm going to come into the chat and say hello to those of you who are brave enough to come into the chat. Hope everybody's well. You know, hope you all had a good weekend. Here we are, it's Monday if you're watching this live. You know what Mondays are like. But anyway, I hope you're all well. Hi, Tracy. Hi, Charlie. Hi, Liesa. Hi, Bluebell. Hi, Lily. Hi, David. Hi, Shez. Hi, Mara. Hi, Darren. And Lily. Did I say hello? I think I said hello to Lily earlier. But anyway, thank you. Thank you for joining in the chat. Okay, so let's start with this. Now, I'm sorry, I'm just saying, I'm going to sort of, you know, I managed to record it. I don't know if Channel 4 will pick me up on it. They probably will eventually. But I think hopefully we'll be okay getting through the live. Because, you know what YouTube can be like. Let's hope they don't pick up on it. I have to keep stopping it so that, you know, I mean, I've recorded it, but it may get picked up in the live that I'm using what they'd call copyright content. So we'll see how it goes anyway. We'll see how it goes.
Out of very strong language and scenes which you might find upsetting, the disappearance.
This is the 911 call from Lucy May, one of Jay's best friends. Now, the voices have been replaced by actors. It's quite amusing later on, because when you hear Ayub talking at the inquest and his voice has been replaced by an actor, it's nothing like the way Ayub talks. So I don't know if this is anything like the way that Lucy talks. Probably not. But anyway, it's like a replay of the 911 call. Sorry, the 112 call. So this is the call to the Spanish police. So the Spanish police, if you're ever in Spain and you've got an emergency, you ring 112. And you can get an English speaker, just to let you know that. Hopefully you'll never be in a position where you'll need it. But if you ever do, if you're in Spain, you need emergency, be it ambulance, police, etc. 112 is the number to ring, and you will get someone who speaks in English. So it's interesting what she said there, wasn't it? I mean, this is my only problem with this case. It's not a problem. It's not my problem. I mean, my life's not affected, is it, by this case? Is why Jay went there in the first place. I do think there may be more to it, why Jay went to the B&B. I don't think there's any more after that. I don't believe that it was foul play, what happened to Jay. I think it was an unfortunate accident. But there's always that possibility, and we'll see even later on the forensic guy, Richard Shepherd, who's a very respected forensic pathologist. We don't know if all we know is Jay ended up in the ravine. Now, did he walk there, or was he even says we cannot know whether it be a ravine, whether it be down the stairs, somebody falls. You never know 100% certain if they were pushed or not. It's impossible, because a push will not leave, unless it's a really big push, like it might leave a bruise. But of course, Jay had been, unfortunately so long left there, they wouldn't have been able to tell if there was any bruising, I don't think. But anyway, there wasn't. So there was no evidence of anybody pushing him. But even the pathologist says, you just never know. I don't think so. I think Jay just got lost. He got lost. And we're going to see a little bit more about Jay's character in this video. He was full on, always on the go ever since he was a child. I don't know if he had ADHD or whatever. He was just, it's adorable in one way, but it can be exhausting. And of course, people who, have this sort of hyper thing where they can't stop, whereas most people have gone home and they're still going. I do think Jay was that sort of person. And I think he thought he could find his way home. Anyway, we'll see that as we go along. But going back to this. So this is Lucy's call. Let's just listen. So she says clearly there, he says he thinks he's going to die up there. And then the phone cut off. How chilling. I honestly think, let me know what you think, of course, or let me know what you think, but being nice about it, if you like. Be respectful to me, be respectful to the family, be respectful to each other. Say your views with pleasure, but not in a nasty way. If he got so completely lost, it's one thing, you can get lost. I got lost in Liverpool. Not that long, not that long ago. It was 10 years ago, probably. But literally, I was there with a friend. He was doing an exam, and I was having a little wander around the city. While he was doing his exam, I was wandering around the city, and I got completely lost. And literally, just couldn't. It was like what's that word? It was like Groundhog Day. I felt like I was walking around in circles. But bearing in mind that this was a city, it was pavements, it was, but I felt like I was walking around in circles, and I was trying to get to I think it was a Wetherspoons, where I was supposed to be meeting my friend, or some sort of place like that. And I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm just not getting there. It was weird. I think it must have been before the days of locations, like on your phone and everything. It may have been 15 years ago. I don't know. It was a long time ago. But I ended up stopping people and asking them. And I've got to say, they were so lovely. Everyone was so lovely while I was there in Liverpool getting lost. Very nice people, very helpful. And obviously I found my way in the end. But I thought, oh my God, I felt like really disorientated because I just could not find my way to this place. So I'm talking about a town, well, city like Liverpool. Imagine if you were in that sort of place where all the terrain looks the same. Very scary, very scary. And he was going more into it because he got to a point where he couldn't go back. I think that's what he meant when he said he couldn't go back, because he was lost. He couldn't find his way back. Personally, that's what. Joe, seeing this, I mean, it's quite distressing, isn't it, to think is that Jay's remains under there? You know, just, and I don't know about you, but, and I just want to make a comment there. Oh my God, Bluebell, I would have, thank God you were okay, because I would have felt really guilty if you were listening to me and then getting lost in. I could have ended up reporting on it. Oh my God, thank God you were okay. Obviously, I didn't know Jay and I don't know his family, but I feel like I know him. I think we all feel like that when we watch these cases. You know, we report on these cases, we start to empathize, identify with these people and these families. And sometimes I have to remind myself that I didn't know Jay, because he reminds me so much of so many people in my family, you know, like there's so many, you know, I just feel this was an ordinary family who were just, you know, living their lives. And Jay was, you know, he'd had some problems and whatever, but at the end of the day, he was going off on his first sort of lads and ladies, because of course Lucy was one of his best friends. She's a girl. Just ordinary, you know, just going off, and this happened, you know, just incredible. Just the thought of having to go and pick up your son or daughter or anyone, any loved one from a foreign country. I think, you know, that's it. I mean, it's not a foreign country to me. I've lived in Spain for 30 years, but nearly 30 years. And I speak Spanish, but imagine just, you know, going off from Accrington. I mean, Tenerife is a place you go on holiday. Don't think anything terrible is going to happen there. I mean, Warren, Jay's dad, will say this in the documentary. Don't think anything's going to happen. Just going to Tenerife, going in the bars, you're going to, you know, have a good time. He's going to the festival. You never think that anything like this is going to happen. It's a very, very sad case, this.
And other festivals.
Now, I don't know who this person is. Does somebody will know who this person is?
Ben Brad.
Who is this person?
Some friends of Lucy's out there. He's growing up now, he's 19, he's been to all these parties.
Why don't I know who he is? So it's not obviously Jay's brother, or it must be some sort of relative of the family, because he talks quite a lot in this video. But I'm so sorry, but I don't know who he is. There's always a dog, isn't there? Always a dog. Bless. This dog probably misses Jay too. Bless him.
It was very tidy, actually, Jay.
Very tidy.
For his first holiday on his own. With his passport when it came, the dog.
Oh my God. You know, she says he was very tidy. Bless him. Yeah, I wasn't blessed with a son who's tidy, I've got to say.
I get it. The dog got up on the table, I don't know how, and he chewed it to bits, and it were in his cage. I said to Jay, flipping out, you've only had this passport 2 days.
Now, this made me laugh, and this is what I mean about them. I thought, God, there's so many coincidences here, because number one son, my son, his passport's been chewed up by his dog. In fact, he needs a new passport, as it happens. But yeah, when she said that, I thought, that's it, because they leave their things in places. You know, you've got to put your things away from your dogs when they sort of young. I mean, they don't chew up things so much now. You could probably leave your passport. He could probably leave his passport out now and his dog wouldn't chew it. But yeah, I don't know how number one son's dog ended up chewing up his passport. He's still visible, but I don't know how they'd feel about it at the airport or whatever. Needs replacing. We've been sort of waiting till it's due to be replaced because, of course, they go 10 years, don't they? So it's probably been in that state for ages. But he has used it, I think. But yeah, it made me laugh when she said that. You know, at the end of the day, we're all the same in lots of ways, aren't we? You know, this is what I mean about this family. This is just an ordinary family. You know, Jay was an ordinary 19-year-old. You know, and he'd been through some problems which they're going to address in this. But there he was off on his first holiday abroad without his mum and dad. And the other thing is, all these videos and things that we get to see in here, honestly, it just breaks my heart because he's always smiling. You can see he's always on the go, even at work, etc. He's just one of those people he's a little bit hyper. And even Warren says, you know, their other son, Zach, Jay's brother, he was total opposite. He was calm. And, you know, so when Jay came along, it was like, oh, my God, because that's the type of lad he was. You know, we all have our unique personalities, don't we? Bless her. And again, you know, so many more coincidences. That's what number one son calls me most of the time. I mean, he calls me other things sometimes, but mother, you know, it's like there's so many things that I can resonate with this. And she said, I love you, my boy. You know, I feel like Debbie and Jay, they had a very special, close relationship, maybe because of the problems he'd been through and things. And of course, he still lived at home. So his brother Zach had he's got a partner, I believe, and children and everything. But I feel that Debbie and Jay had a very special sort of closeness. Yeah, that was a funny thing. So he texted Lucy and said, I can't get him at 2:48. You can see I can't get him Papagayo. They've got a marker on me. So I don't know what that meant. Lucy offered to come and get him, and he said no. Unfortunately, we can't see the message there, but he said no. It's okay. I'm on a mission. You know, the thing is, if he'd been taking, like, as the drug report said, the toxicology report, he'd been taking cocaine and God knows what else, he couldn't stop. I've seen it so many times with other people, not me. You know, I'm the opposite. I have to go to bed. But yeah, when you take these kind of drugs like ketamine and cocaine and that, you just can't stop. You don't want to stop. Now, Lucy had stopped by then, hadn't she? So, but she offered to come and get him. And he said no. And he went off with these two guys, Ayub and Rocky, for whatever reason, which I don't think we'll ever know the true reason. I don't think they killed him. I literally do not think they killed him. But why he went back with them, that is a question.
From Lucy, she just said Jay's missing. He didn't come back last night. She just said I've reported him missing to the police.
Now, at the time, I remember, well, I covered this from day one. Do you remember? Because I think from the minute I saw it, it resonated with me because it was in Spain, because he was from the north. He reminded me of one of my nephews. You know, there was a lot of things. So we covered it. Now, I remember when the Facebook group first opened up, looking for Jay, you know, as they do. Don't forget, this is a normal thing that happens nowadays, isn't it? If someone goes missing, people open up a Facebook group. And Lucy was on there saying she'd been searching for him everywhere. No sign of him. She was absolutely exhausted, but she couldn't give up. I think people have been wrong about Lucy. Personally, I think there's been a lot of attacks on Lucy, as on all his friends. And I don't think anyone, Jay is responsible in a way for his own sort of, what's the word? I don't mean to say it in a horrible way because I feel for it, but I feel that it was like misadventure almost. He thought he could get home. He should have waited for the bus, or he should have even waited for Ayub to take him home. For whatever reason, he didn't feel he could do that. But look, hearing more about what Debbie says about him and his hyperactivity, I can see that. I've seen that in people in my family. They just can't stop. And especially with the drugs and everything, not going to stop and wait for somebody to come and get them. He thinks, oh, no, I'll be okay going over there. Again, just my thoughts.
Yes. My legs were just like jelly. I've just gone into panic.
It's emergency. Who is it you're reporting missing? What the rest?
I mean, just imagine getting that phone call. I mean, it'd be bad enough if it was in your own country, in your own environment. If my son went out and then I got a phone call from one of his friends saying, oh, is he with you? And we don't know what happened to him. Or if he'd gone to Benidorm or some sort of party place, even in this country, be bad enough. But imagine somebody ringing you, your child's friend ringing you, your young adult's friend ringing you and saying, we don't know where Jay is, or whoever it was, or it could be a girl. Do you know anything? Have you heard anything? They're missing. And you're miles away. You've got to get a flight to go out there. That is bad enough if you've got to drive, a couple of hours to get there. But at least it's in your own country and the language is your own language. But, to think you've got to get a flight out to a foreign country where you don't understand how things work, apart from the language barrier. I honestly, my heart just goes out to this family, what they've gone. That's interesting, isn't it? So, of course, yeah, your first thought would be, well, he's been last with these people that he didn't even know. I mean, Ayub and Rocky, he didn't know from before. They weren't friends from before. So, yeah, your first thought would be, have they done something to him? The other thing is, the trouble is, you talk about being miles away. Obviously, if it happened with my son and it was local, I'd be going down there and knocking on their door. But these lads were miles away. Also, they don't come from the same area as them, so they went home the next day, didn't they? Or did they? Oh, no, that's right. Ayub and Rocky, they were due to go back to London the next day. But they ended up staying an extra day because they were interviewed by the Guardia Civil. But these are not people Debbie or or Jay's family knew. These are new friends that he'd never known before. So it wasn't like it was Lucy or Brad or any of his other friends. So very sad. And here's what Warren breaks my heart as well, because to Warren, you can tell he's just like in shock. How can you disappear in Tenerife?
How can you?
God, I mean, had you even heard of Masca before this? Nobody had heard of Masca. People knew about Tenerife. But I live in Spain. I've never heard of Masca as a place. It's a whole different place, isn't it, to the Tenerife where people go on holiday and the Strip and this, that, and the other. So Masca, there is a question there. Why was that place rented right up in the mountains? Ayub said it was like just for something different. It's a beautiful place, beautiful views and everything, but it is miles away from anywhere. You know, and I'll agree with anyone who says, why were they staying there? Why did Jay go there? They're the only two questions, as far as I'm concerned,